Good evening, everybody. This is going to be another video, basically showing you guys my most recent sales, the ones that I found to be a bit more interesting. And again, I'm going to do it using Google Hangouts. Just before I start, I've got to say I really do like Google Hangouts. It gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you a lot of features, and like I said, it means that you can go directly straight up onto YouTube, which cuts out editing and it keeps things nice and simple. So I'm a really big fan of that. So what I'm going to do is kind of like my other sales videos, I'm going to show you guys my like eBay page and show you guys some of the items that I've sold and just talk you through them, how much I sold them for, how much I got them for, and basically a few words on each item just to let you guys know, what my thoughts are on why I bought it and why I sold it for what I sold for, which is pretty cool. And if you guys obviously have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section. It's really appreciated, and I always try to get back to you as much as I can, as quickly as I can. So without further ado, let me just see if this screen share works. I'm sure it will. I'm gonna just switch to that. Fantastic. There we go. I'm screen sharing now, so hopefully you are screen sharing and presenting to everybody. Okay, that sounds okay. Now, basically, this is my first sale of the day, so I'm going to show you this is the Lightning McQueen Pixar fast talking Lightning McQueen from, I think it is a Mattel toy, and this is a little bit different from a lot of the other Lightning McQueen toys in the sense that this particular toy has like controls on the back of the car, which you kind of program. And you can tell it to go forward, then left, forward, then right, and each of the buttons makes like a noise, a talking sound, which is pretty cool. So it's something that you might find useful for, little kids do enjoy it. So if a remote control's too complicated, this is the ideal toy for a little one who enjoys cars. Now, I picked this up for £5, which I think is pretty reasonable. It's not too much. I think it's a decent amount. And I managed to sell it on for 20 with free postage, so pretty decent profit. Not amazing, but it does the job really nicely. So that's the first item I'm going to talk about. So that's the fast talking Lightning McQueen. And one thing I've got to mention, when you're dealing with things like cars and other toys like this, let me just see if I can stop that screen share. There you go. Brilliant, it's brought me back. Now, one thing I've got to say about this screen sharing, about this cars and other toys like this, it's really important to do your research and get the get what you can in terms of information about the correct model number and the correct name for the car. Now, sometimes you might find the name which is what the toy is known by in another country. So for example, this particular car, it might be called something else over in the United States and something else over in Europe. And you don't want to kind of not get the name right, because that can really affect obviously how quickly and easily your item is found. So do a bit of research, dig around. So for example, again, if I switch back to this screen share, what you will see is that I'm actually I've written in the title H6449 because that was a model, or that was that was written on the actual bottom of the that was actually written on the bottom of the car. So I searched it, Googled it, and I found out that that's what this is called. This is the fast talking Lightning McQueen, and hopefully someone found it from that and was able to pick it up. So the next item I want to talk about is a Sega Mega Drive 2. I picked this up for £15 from Boot Fair last week or the week before. I can't remember now quite which. Took the time to kind of work out the best way to display it. I always find consoles can be a bit difficult to display, especially the wires, because they can look messy as they do here. You can see the RF and the power, but overall it looks kind of appealing, quite nice. 3 games with it. So like I said, I picked it up for £15 and I managed to sell it for 40. So that's a decent flip, decent profit. And hopefully the buyer will enjoy that. And you can see I've got like multiple pictures from different angles. I do always try to take pictures of the serial number as well, so you can see clearly the serial number. So if there's any disputes, someone trying to return me a different machine to the one I sold to them, etc., I can always point that out, which is good for me, it's good for everyone really. So that was a nice easy flip there, £15. Same bundle, didn't have to do anything to it, just cleaned it up, stuck it on eBay, and it sold for £40, which is fantastic. So let me just get rid of that. Next item I'm going to show you. Now this is something which is quite rare to me. I see lots of tech decks about at boot fairs, and tech decks are very popular, and you normally see them in the fingerboard style, so these small tiny mini skateboards that you're meant to do tricks with your fingers and like flip them and make them jump, and you'll find lots of boards, ramps, a lot of that kind of stuff available. Now this is actually the first time I saw one of these, which is a handboard. So it's made by Tech Decks again, but obviously it's it's a handboard. It's 27 centimeters in length, and I picked this up for £1, which was fantastic. That's literally what it is. It says Dark Star along the bottom. It's got really cool wheels. You can see it's got a bit of wear to it as well. But I thought it was a really nice little item. Picked it up for £1, and it sold for 25, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really happy with that buy. It speaks for itself. So maybe you could call this be on the lookout for Tech Deck 27 centimeter handboards. Definitely worth picking up if you do see them. Now here's something else which I've recently gotten into. This is something that my brother actually has gotten me into. I've always enjoyed wrestling, and I like wrestling figures as well, but I've never thought of selling them like this. But you can pick up wrestling figures from most fairs for about 50p or £1, and if you bundle them up nicely, there's some decent profit to be made. This bundle of wrestlers I actually picked up for £5 because I picked up, he had these on the guy had these on the mat on the floor. So how much for the lot? And he said it's £5. So I was like, fair enough. It's got Vince McMahon there. Obviously it helps if you know who some of the wrestlers are, because then you can again name them. And again, in terms of wrestling figures, there's a couple of things to look out for. The two major manufacturers that I know of are Mattel and Jakks. Mattel figures are the more sought after. However, these are all Jakks figures, and they have still done well. So like I said, I picked these up for £5. I sold them for £20. So very happy with that as well. The next item I'm going to show you guys is the Apple iPod. This is something I picked up for a £5 at a boot fair. This is just a regular iPod mini 4 gig version. It's got a few scuffs and marks on it, as you'd expect really, but still it works. The battery was decent on it, and I would try to get like a close up so you can just about make out the serial and the Apple model number there. You can see that it's a A1051. So I picked that up for a £5. It did stick around for a while. I did have it up for 25. In the end, I dropped it to 23, and I managed to get rid of it. So I got a decent amount of profit from that as well. So from £5 to £23, cannot complain too much. Next item that sold recently as well is the Olympus DS3000 digital voice recorder. Now, most mobile phones do this function very well, so you might think that it's a defunct item. However, there's still plenty of people that like to have specific items for specific things. And this voice recorder, I think I picked up for £2. It really is in nice condition. As you can see, I always try to take as many pictures of the box and of the unit from different angles, as we all should be doing. Ideally, try to show the unit working if you can as well, always helps. And I managed to get rid of that for £20.99. I may have been able to get more had I held out a bit longer at a higher price, but I was pretty happy from going from £2 to like 21. Can't really go wrong. And next item, this is one of my auction pickups. So this came in like a box or bag of shoes. These are Kynox offshore boots. Now again, something that maybe you could look out for when you're out at the booty. Sometimes you do pick them up at boot fairs, but this kind of specialist footwear is always going to bring good money, very good quality. Again, the thing that turned me onto it, because I'm not aware of this brand, is on the sole it actually says made in Italy. Anytime something says made in Italy, especially on footwear, chances are it's going to be higher quality than your average bit of footwear. So it's worth just getting in there and picking it up. So these boots, even though they're quite used, you can see they're quite dirty. I didn't really do a great job in cleaning these up, but those sold for £30. So that's pretty cool. Is another auction pickup. Really came in a bag of jumpers and hoodies. This is actually a Ralph Lauren polo. As you can see, I managed to get a really nice close-up there of the badge. I've got like a little mannequin that I can show the jumper off on, show the tag as well. Show as much of the tag as possible if there's different parts to it as well. It's always worth doing, just to give people an idea. And I saw that there was a very slight mark there, so I photographed that also. And this sold for $33.99 very quickly, so very happy with that as well. So that's a really decent pickup for me. Again, I've said this before, but guys, really do check out things like auctions as well. Diversify where you get your stock from. It is worthwhile because the quality of items you tend to be pretty good. Obviously, it's not a win-win. Sometimes you will lose. You will buy a bag and you will find absolutely nothing worthwhile in it, and the whole lot will end up going into a charity shop or into a skip, depending on the condition of the clothes, or the trainers or the shoes or whatever you've bought from auction. But it can be worthwhile, so definitely keep an eye on that. Next item I want to show you, this is actually something I'm going to be looking at more whenever I'm out at the boot fair. I'm not sure about you guys, but I see a ton of baseball caps, absolute ton of them. There's a plethora of them everywhere, and people don't tend to ask you a lot of money for them. They tend to either ask you like 40p, 50p or a pound maybe. In this particular case, someone asked me 80 pence for this, and I just like the look of it. It looked like a bit old school. Utah Jazz baseball caps. It's a basketball team ad from the States. You can see the cap's not in great condition. It's got wear to it. It's not like awesome condition. The photo is not particularly awesome. I struggle to make it look as good as I would have liked, but I try my best. But even then, it was only 80 pence, this item, bear in mind, and I sold it for $8.99, so that's pretty good. Even when you have to take out the £2.34 postage, even with that, it's a good flip. So from 80p to £9. So if you see these, that's 100% cotton. Make sure that it's like official merchandise. So you can see there it has a tag that shows that it's like an official bit of NBA merchandise, and that sold for £9. So I'm really happy with that. Now, moving on to, I think, my last three items now. So this is just a regular item that I always sell a lot of. Again, sometimes these can be hard to spot. CD players, sometimes you'll find them underneath other items on tables. So it's always worth going over to a table at a boot fair, having a little rummage, making sure you have seen everything that's on the table. When you're going past stall after stall, things can glaze over. And again, CD players are something that people just don't value, and sometimes they haven't looked after, so you'll often find the batteries in the back have leaked and have created a mess. So it's worth checking that out, and sometimes they won't work, but I think overall, when you're normally spending between 50p and a pound, they're always worth it. So I think this, I think again, I would have paid either 50p or a pound, not much more than that, and it went for 20. So from 50p or a pound to 20, call it a pound, I don't know, call it pound to 20 pounds to 20 pounds, works fantastically. You don't have to do much to it, just show a few photos. There you go, because I've shown it working. Showed the G-Shock protection thingy working there, just played a little CD on it, and it's an easy little sale, that really. So definitely look out for CD players. I keep on saying it, but they are worth looking out for. Now, my second to last time to show you is actually a pair of footwear again. Now, these are boots by Meindl for activities. Now, these, I think, are a German manufacturer. I don't know much about hiking or mountaineering or climbing or whatever. It's not my cup of tea. It's not what I do. However, the footwear that is used in these pursuits is normally very expensive, because these boots have to be hard wearing. And again, whenever you're out and about looking for something, looking for boots and shoes, look out for certain signs. Now, what attracted me to these boots is, if you look, there's like a little yellow label which says Gore-Tex. As soon as you see that, alarm bell should be ringing, and you should be thinking, these might be good. And again, on the soles, I've mentioned this before as well, if they've got that little yellow tag which says Vibram on it, again, that's something which a lot of these kinds of boots do use. And if you've got Gore-Tex and Vibram together, then you're onto something. And try to see where it's made. If it's made If it's obviously if it says made in Germany or made in England, somewhere like that, you know it's good. If obviously it says made in China, chances are it won't be too good. Now look at the condition of these; they're pretty dirty. Like the suede's got like mud on it, the back has got mud on it. I mean, they're pretty muddy. They're pretty dirty actually, and my photos do expose that. Now that's a good thing because I don't want to have people buying things from me and then saying it's not as described. The photos really do show the condition of it really well. So if anyone takes the time to look at the photos, they can see that. That was the only tag on the inside. Now, like I said, these not in the best condition. However, they still picked me up £40 very quickly. So I was very, very happy with that as well. So, again, look out for different niche type things. Don't just look out for the regular stuff. Yes, obviously video games sell well, and trainers and jeans sell well, and all those kinds of things sell well. That's why we all look for them. Board games sell well, all these kinds of things. However, it's always good to kind of learn about different items and different things. And I'm the first to do that. I've never really looked into any of this stuff yet. Now I know. I didn't know about brands like Mendel or oh god, I don't know. Even in terms of running shoes, if you don't even ask me about a brand as big as Asics or Brooks or Saucony or anything, I wouldn't have known about these, and yet now I'm aware of them, and it kind of makes me feel more confident. So now if I go to the fair and I see some Asics trainers, most people don't tend to pick them up because they're not Nike or because they're not Adidas or Reebok. So whereas I'll see them and I'll be like, I'll have a look at those, and often they're not asking for a lot of money for them, and often these command higher prices on eBay on average than your regular Nikes and things like that. Now, so fantastic sale. Now the final item I want to show you guys is let's have a look, is this. I'm really, really proud of this sale. It cost me, I actually bought a radio of a guy for a £5. It was a Roberts radio, and it turned out that it wouldn't power on. However, when I bought it, we got chatting, and he had this radio in the back, and he was just like, well, it's broken, may as well I'm going to get rid of it, it's going to go in the skip. And he just gave it to me, and I was really happy for that, because obviously I've paid a £5 for an item which has ended up not working, which he said worked, but like karma or whatever has meant he gave me this radio which he thought wasn't working, because it was a bit battered. This is called the Grundig Yacht Boy. Now this is like a 1960s radio. You look at it, it is absolutely stunning. This thing has got more charisma and class in its build and finish than many modern day electronics, and people appreciate that. You just look at the kind of the buttons, how they click, they feel good when they click. The dials are solid, and it's got a nice finish to it, as you can see. Now this radio had a long laundry list of defects. This radio did have a lot of faults, one of which was the handle wasn't staying up. It was a loose handle, so if you lift it forward, it just falls back or falls forward. So I had to mention that. You can see that on the front of the radio, let me show you, like on the front of the radio, you can see that the two knobs that are along the bottom, one of them is not the original knob, it's a black knob rather than a black and silver knob. So that's obviously wrong with it. On the back, you can see it's missing like a panel. It's missing like a complete panel, which would have normally covered that section. That's missing. There was a crack on the inside. So all of these things were wrong with it. You can see the wear was quite high on this item. However, I did manage to get it tested, and I got it tested, and I put all these faults in. You can see mark scratches consistent with age, and I've written handle is loose, and so on and so forth. Basically, I wrote a lot of things that were wrong with the item. However, it still sold for £70, and the nice thing about this radio is, bring you back to this if you can see me, guys. Yeah, and the nice thing about this radio for me was not just the fact that I sold it from 5 to 70 pounds, but it's actually gone to like a French film company by the looks of it. It's gone by the global shipping program, so they've paid like another 10 pounds on top of the 70 to get this over there. And they're actually like like a small French film company, so for all I know they might be making like a film based in like the 60s and 70s, and they just need a cool looking radio in one of their shots, and maybe they're going to use this. And just the thought of that is I think really cool. So those, I think, were I think that's it. Those were the main kind of items that I had, that I really wanted to kind of get out there and just share with you guys. So if you guys have got any questions, I'd be really happy to answer them. I've actually started like a question and answer thing, so if you guys want to leave any questions or comments, I'd be really happy to kind of answer them and give my opinion on things, even though you can't always take what I say as word. I mean, just to give you guys an example, I'm trying to do this on a full-time basis now. I'm only just started to kind of build up my kind of listings. I was actually hovering under 100 listings for a long time, and I realized that has to change. So I've kind of changed a few things, and created a more work-like environment for me at home. So when my wife goes out to work and I'm left alone at home, I've kind of created a work-like environment. I've actually roped my brother in, who's also trying to get into the reselling, and he's got into this as well. So we're trying to like work together in a work-like environment. We found that we're becoming a lot more productive and we're able to list a lot more, and sales have gone up. However, saying that, yesterday I sold absolutely nothing, and today I've only sold one item, like a CD player, for 16 pounds. So I'm a long way away from being on a successful level with someone like Joe Chris Pine or Nick Hills or Tom the English Picker or any of the big American resellers on YouTube that you see, like the Picking Profits and the Global Voodoo or whoever else you watch. So please bear that in mind. I've only just started doing this in the last few months, and I was actually inspired by watching Nick Hill's videos, as many people are. So it's not an easy road, but it's an enjoyable one. And as long as you put the work in, the most important thing is putting the work in, and just kind of making sure that you're disciplined. I've actually got a question here, which is awesome. Let's have a look. Just thought I'd say I've started doing some reselling, nothing big, but just casually. Love watching your videos. They've given me that extra hope when it comes to picking up that bargain. How did you get on with that epic Mazda you bought? Well, thanks for the question there, Chudders. That's a fantastic name. If you're watching this, the Mazda is up for sale now, so I'm just waiting to see if I can actually pull any interest in. I'm just gonna see what I can get. I mean, having a look at recent sales, I think it wouldn't be out of this world to expect 250 plus. Even 300 plus is not out of this world. It's just about waiting. How long am I prepared to wait? Now, with an item like a grinder, if you guys who are watching who don't know, I recently picked up a commercial coffee grinder for 40 quid, which is really dirt cheap. This grinder normally goes for about £700-800, if not more. As I picked this grinder up in great condition for £40, and I should really, if I wait long enough, get around the £300 mark for it. So hopefully it will be there and go, and I'll do really well out of it. Well, guys, there's got 8 of you watching, which is fantastic, but there's no more questions like directly to answer on the actual stream. So what I'm going to do is just wrap this up, because it is nearly 11 p.m. at night now. I just thought I'd quickly pop on and put this video up so I can show you guys what I've sold recently. But guys, please feel free to leave any questions, comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching it, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.